No,
You're not a Christian? Do you believe in God?
I believe in the universe.
How about God?
I believe in, you call it God, I call it the universe, because the universe is everywhere. So I believe everything starts with the universe.
Hey, what's up, y'all, man? It's Jonathan Owens here. Another episode of The Word Spoken. Man, we're going to get into this episode. Let's see what's going on. Let's go. I saw this clip, and I think many of you all saw it because it's been resurfacing lately. Why can't somebody say the universe is quote-unquote God? Let's look at this first clip because many people feel this way. Take a look at this clip of Joe Rogan, and he's saying something interesting. Let's go.
When we think of the Earth, we think of the Earth as a host for, billions of life forms, insects and amoebas and plants and animals and all that. When we look at the planet itself, we think of the planet as an individual. But when we look at a galaxy, a spiral galaxy, we look at that as an individual. We look at that as a thing. When we look at the universe, when we look at God, are we making a mistake by thinking that it's something that created the universe? That maybe the universe itself is this living thing. The universe itself is God.
Well,
now, this is a good question. And in this interview, you all should check it out. In this interview, he also talks about how the stellar nursery, where in the galaxy and the universe, there's these, they call it stellar nursery, but they believe that's where stars are formed, for this huge chunk of like different gases and everything that makes up a star. And it also could potentially come from, I believe, supernovas, exploding stars, also contributing to these gases in the universes, and they can come together and then form new stars. And so Joe Rogan uses that and say, hey, the universe is creating stars out of itself using the gases. So kind of like, can you say the universe is God because it's creating new things? Interesting point if that was true. Let's look at this from Dr. Danny Faulkner, who discusses these stellar nurseries. So we have this where Danny Faulkner is discussing the issue of the stellar nurseries, because they were looking at the Hubble telescope, and then now we have the James Webb. But then he answers this. It says, what they have this time, this is a new and some recent interesting photograph spectra and brightness measurements for galaxies 6 billion light years away. This is much too far to see individual stars. They have interpreted their measurements in terms of prodigious star formation. I'm about to butcher that word. It's most unfortunate that the average reader will come away thinking, once again, that astronomers have actually witnessed the birth of stars. These sorts of reports are so common now that the vast majority of the public and many astronomers just think that we have seen stars born all over the place. The truth is, we have not witnessed the birth of a single star. The main reason preventing this is the fact that this process is supposed to take a very long time, and we haven't been watching nearly long enough for a star to appear where there was none before. So is the galaxy, X, Y, and Z, far, far away giving birth to new stars? Could stars be forming today? After all, we see supernovae occur in space, so why not star formation? Although the Bible does not say God is making more stars, it does say he finished the work of creation on the 6th day. So this is important, because what we have now is two things. We have scientists that are saying that there's new star formation. So Joe Rogan naturally is saying, man, the universe is creating things, and it's something so powerful as stars Can the universe be looked at as God? Well, it's hard to say that when the universe itself is not eternal. Some people are going to probably say, no, we don't know. No, they know that the universe is not so eternal. So if the universe is not eternal, how can it be God when that means in itself it is not efficient enough to be all consuming, all forever, eternal, to be able, but that means it had at the beginning, that means it needed something to bring it into existence. So how do we know that? Let's look at Dr. Stephen Meyer talks about this universe having a beginning and the backdrop of why we are saying that.
The scientists were able to discern that the galaxies are actually moving away from us. That's what the redshift meant. Hubble used data from an unsung hero in astronomy named Vesto Slipher about this redshift. So here's the implication of all this. If the galaxies are moving away from us in every direction, in the forward direction of time, the only way that can be true is if there is a kind of spherically symmetric expansion of the universe, that everything is expanding in the forward direction. So in the forward direction of time, you have the universe getting bigger and bigger, and the galaxies, every galaxy getting further and further away from every other galaxy. But if you wind the time clock backwards, if you back extrapolate, and you think, well, what was the universe like 100 years ago, or 1,000 years ago, or a million, or a billion, or however far back you go, eventually you get to the point where all that galactic material is going to congeal, or would have come back to the same point, a point marking the beginning of the expansion of the universe, and arguably the beginning of the universe itself.
So this is known now that the universe itself had a beginning. Then to add on top of that, we talk about how the universe is not eternal. Because you have to think about it. If the universe is eternal, then technically that means today would never have come. There would never be a today. Because remember, if the universe is eternal, how can we mark time? How can today be today when the universe is eternal and there wasn't a past, present, and future because it's eternal? So that means there is no today. So you have to logically, consistently understand what we're seeing in astronomy, and then understand what we see in philosophy, and understand what we, understand about how the universe interacts with time. And so it is fascinating because now that we establish that, we understand that, oh, it can't be God because it itself needs to be created. And if you want to call the universe God, why would the universe be caring about like us? Because the universe is hostile to life. Like, unless you're saying that the universe is God and is not caring about anything, we randomly happen to make human beings. But everything that we've seen on life, how everything works together, this stuff is not random. The way everything works so intricately, the water cycle, like the way animals relate, the symbiotic relationships, everything works together so beautifully. So if the universe just created us randomly because it was hostile to life and just randomly created us, that doesn't make a lot of logical sense. And you may say, why would you say that it's hostile to life? Why would you say that? Let's look at this clip from Neil deGrasse Tyson. Check it out.
If we put you anywhere other than certain selected places on Earth, you'd be dead within minutes. The universe is supremely hostile to biology. Even on Earth, if I dropped you butt naked in most random places, close your eyes and drop yourself on a place. Are you in the Sahara? Are you in the North Atlantic? Are you in the middle of a jungle? You'd be eaten, you would freeze, dehydrate. You're dead within minutes. Such is the case on any other planet in the solar system. But the planet that comes closest would be Mars. It takes you longer to die on Mars than on any other place. If we
This guy is pretty funny. So, if the universe is your God, the universe did not want to create you because it made it so hard for you to even be here. So you have to think about it like that, because if it's hostile to life, then that means there was no way the universe was thinking about you. You were not intentional. You were not intentional because the universe is still making it hostile for you to be alive. So the universe was not intentional about creating you. So this brings up a good point because there's a scripture that talks about this very thing. Romans 1:20-25. What does it say? It says, "For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, his eternal power and divine nature has been clearly seen, because they are understood through what has been made. So people are without excuse. For although they knew God, they did not glorify him as God or give him thanks, but became futile in their thoughts, and their senseless hearts were darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools, and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for an image resembling mortal human beings, or birds, or four-footed animals, or reptiles. Therefore God gave them over to the desires of their heart, impurity, to dishonor their bodies among themselves. They exchanged the truth of God for a lie, and worship and serve the creation rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen." Now, Paul is tying all this together. The desires of their own heart, they desire the lust of their flesh. And then also Paul ties in that they could not even see the creation. They started putting the creation before God. And it's crazy that Paul was saying this 2,000 years ago. And we're doing that now. We're calling the universe God when the universe was created. And God is like, I created the universe. So you're worshiping the creation more than the Creator. And this is the problem that we run into, because when you know you have a personal Creator, now you know that I have purpose, I have intent. People may say, "Oh, I can still gain a purpose, even though the universe created me. I still have a purpose to." Your purpose is ultimately meaningless. Why? It's because, remember, none of the things that you're doing are long lasting. None of the things you are doing are long lasting. But if we have an eternal source outside of this finite source, which is the universe, so that means the things that we do have eternal impact, because we have an eternal source, an eternal person locking us in for eternal consequences. Because if all you have is the finite universe, then what purpose is your life going to gain? You do something here, you die, people remember you for 5 or 10 years. You only got a few people who be remembered for a super long time. Even they are eventually forgotten. It's because the purpose is to gratify or satisfy the one who is eternal. Because that purpose and whatever you're doing for him is going to last well beyond this world, is even here. So we have to think about that. Your purpose only comes from glorifying the one who made it all. I know it might be hard for many but think about it. The universe didn't even want you here. And it made it hard, and it's making it hard for you to even live technically anywhere. That means it doesn't care about you. But the God who died and gave up his life, bled and took nails in the hand for you, cares enough to give up his own life that you may have yours. Man, I'll see y'all next time. This is Jonathan Owens, and we're going to talk about another issue that I think that's important. God bless. Peace.